Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
rabbit paws of all colors, shapes, and sizes.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
May I have your attention for a moment?
We've met before, haven't we?
We have. And you defeated me in combat. So now I seek a reprisal.
Why would I want to fight?
Ad honorem, friend. For honor. For the thrill of combat.
Well, if that's how you...
So, shall we cross swords?
Have you still got that arm?
Ha! You haven't disappointed me. I quite understand. You won't fight just for the sake of it. But you'll have to wager some silver.
All right, why not?
I'm glad to hear it. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Missed. Mrtka. Is that the best?
Here!
Can't!
Here, the reward you've earned.
Yeah.
I've got something for you. I hope you won't need them, but
Thank you. What actually happened to you in Skalice? I mean, during the attack and... well, you know.
that's a long story. Not a very cheerful one. Are you sure you want to hear it now?
I do.
All right, then. It was a day like any other. Another ordinary day in my ordinary life. I awoke at first light, before the others. I like those kind of mornings best. When the first rays of sunshine quickly drive away the nighttime cold. Hello, you. Come here. And the breeze carries the scent of dew-covered grass and the bloom of spring. Oh, and look at you. Aren't you a nice boy? I wanted to get my chores done before the rest of the household was up. And this morning seemed made for that very purpose. Right, better get to work. I have to feed the hens, weed the garden, feed Tinker. I'd better get it all done before Papa is up. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this. There's a good doggy. That's my boy. That should do it. The garden is looking how it should again. Here, chickie, chickie, chickie. Here you are, girls. Fill your beaks. I must bring Tinker a piece of meat. That'll be a nice treat. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this.
You're like a lost soul.
What do you need, Papa?
Go up and see the blacksmith. He made some nails for me. Here's some coin.
All right. Anything else while I'm at it?
No, unless you want to stop off at the market and buy some supplies. And before you go, wake Samuel. The boy's still lying in bed and won't stir. He ought to follow your example and Stebor's. You two don't have to be pushed to work. Well, at least he's still better than that good-for-nothing Zbyszek. The lazy wretch. A helper like that isn't worth a damn. If it weren't for his father, God rest his soul, I'd have thrown him out on his ear long ago.
Now, Father, you shouldn't be so hard on Zbyszek. You know he hasn't had an easy life.
And who has, girl? That's no excuse for laziness. You could tell him to get his ass to work, too.
Right. Go for nails, send Samuel and Zbyszek to work. If it's at all possible.
Aye, just so. Oh, and Terezo, once you've done all your chores for the day, I've a little surprise for you.
Really? Now you've got me curious, Pa. I'll be on my way then. Sammy, get up. It's broad daylight and the birds are singing.
Yeah, I'm up.
Have a bite to eat before going to the mine.
All right, Ma. You don't have to treat me like a child. Looks like it'll be nice today, eh? I could go to the pond fishing.
But you have to go to work.
I know. But maybe I can slip off after lunch.
There'll be no slipping off. You know very well Namoy has been complaining about you.
What about dropping that pail on Tonda's head? It was an accident.
Not the first accident you've had, though, was it?
Well, there you go then. If I leave early, nothing'll happen to anyone. And you can cook the fish for lunch tomorrow.
You silly sod. All you ever do at the pond is lie around. The only thing you'll catch is more trouble from the mine master when he finds out. Well, if you're not a child, you can sort it out yourself with Nemoy.
Don't I always?
Pa says you're idle, and if you carry on like that, he'll throw you out.
Ah! Why would he do that? Then he'd be left only with Stibor, and Stibor is not going to break his back working either.
Listen, Zbyszek. Pa's not happy with you, and if he says you're idling, you'd better make a bit of effort. I'm only telling you for your own good. You wouldn't want to lose your job now, would you?
You lot are always going on about work as if it was a blessing from heaven. All right. I'll get to work. Anything for a bit of peace.
That's more like it. You'll see it doesn't hurt. To heel, Tinker. Good fella.
That's my boy.
Here, heel. To me.
And tell me, what can a peasant like you know of God?
I know what the priest told me, and what do you know?
And what if the priest lies? What if the...
What are you two quarrelling about here, for the love of God?
This pipsqueak here claims studying is as hard a job as working in the stables.
I most certainly did not, because study is of course much harder work than mucking out a bit of horse manure.
See? That's what I'm talking about, and yet it's as clear as day.
Hang on, what's as clear as day?
That study is as hard as mucking out stables, if not harder.
The man who doesn't work with his hands is an idler, and a good for nothing. Am I wrong?
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions before answering. You're a scholar. What are you doing in Skalitz?
I'm on my way to Sasau with letters. This ingrate here is stabling my horse overnight before I continue my journey.
What does your work involve, student?
I'm no student, but a baccalaureus, having completed the trivium of the Faculty of Liberal Arts in the University of Prague. Grammar, rhetoric, and dialectics are my work, while this yokel wouldn't be capable even of learning Latin. Father arranged that I will serve as a teacher in Kuttenberg for 2 years before returning to the university to attend the quadrivium. To teach and be taught, that is real work.
You serve Sir Racek at the castle, don't you, Master Groom?
Aye, and Sir Racek is very pleased with my work. I can be rightly proud of what I do, and I bring home a nice wage too. The children are fed, and the wife can buy herself a nice scarf from time to time. I'm satisfied with my lot. How many people can say that?
What's so hard about your job, Master Groom?
That's real work. Not like this parasite here does. On my feet from dawn till dusk, feeding, mucking out, grooming. By evening, I'm dead on my feet. I'm doing something real, see? Something that makes sense. Horses are needed for work, for the lords, for riding out, even in times of war. And someone has to care for those horses. All this good-for-nothing can do is mouth off. But he'd never be able to do a real job.
That's all I need to know. You're both right, but not one of you has a grain of sense. Work is work, whether it's done with your hands or your heart.
Ah, rhetoric worthy of Socrates himself, and out of the mouth of a woman. I bow to you, good maiden. The professors of Prague could learn a thing or two from you.
Are you saying this good-for-nothing here, who has to beg for his beer at the tavern, is my equal? But to hell with it. I won't argue.
Good day, Teresa.
Heel!
How are you?
I'm wounded.
By all means. I'll have a look at you and...
You know what?
As you wish.
God be with you.
What's new with you?
Well, I went to see Pavlena's father to ask for her hand. He hummed and hawed for a bit, but in the end he gave his blessing. He didn't offer much of a dowry, but I don't care. The main thing is I can finally be with my Pavlena. We'll be wed in the summer.
That's great. I wish you happiness.
May the Lord watch over you, Tess.
God bless.
What's new in the village?
There's to be a dance this evening. Again. Can we not find some other way to enjoy ourselves for a change? Harvest festival, Pentecost festival, dances, church, and dances again.
What else would we do for fun?
I heard they have combat tournaments in Ratte sometimes. The men put on shining armour and folk can watch them battering each other. That must be lovely to watch. Why can't we have something like that once in a while? After all, Sir Racek is the royal hetman.
But for a tournament, you need knights. We don't have enough here in Skalitz.
Ah, but Sir Hanish's tourney in Ratte is even for commoners. Even our fellas could enroll there.
Oh my God, don't say that too loud. I can just imagine how my brothers would be tripping over each other to enroll.
They wouldn't be the only ones, would they? How about that Henry? He's always waving that wooden sword around like you'd think he was getting ready to go on crusade. But there's an interesting thought now. Which of our fellas do you think would win?
I'd say my brother Stibor would win. He's as strong as an ox. He can even carry 2 sacks of flour at once.
He's strong, all right, but so are the lads in the mines. How about Tonda the Winch? He could knock your brother down with his little finger.
If he could hit him, Stibor was faster on his feet.
He might be at that.
Anyway, enough about tourneys. I must be on my way. Take care. Sick. To me.
God be with you.
God safe. What can I do for you?
What's new in the village, Yarmila?
Did you happen to meet that scholar who's been wandering around here since yesterday? He told me a wonderful story from olden times when Princess Libusa ruled. You've heard about Libusa, haven't you?
No. I don't know her. Who was she?
Really? I thought everyone knew that story. She was a princess of bygone days who married a plowman, and he later became king. But she was a seer too, and she had all sorts of visions. And she founded Prague.
That's interesting. What did the scholar tell you about her?
About the Maiden's War. Would you like to hear it?
Maiden's War. That sounds like a good story. Tell me about it.
Girls were different back then. In pagan times, they could live... How did he put it? Free of the yoke of marriage. They bore arms like men and waged war. And they chose their own leader. And they even dressed like men. Can you believe it?
What happened to them?
He said they were so bold that they even built their own fortress, where no man was allowed.
They really did that themselves?
Oh, aye. And when the menfolk found out, they were envious. They came together in great numbers and built their own fortress in sight of the maiden's one.
What? Men and women lived separately in their own castles?
They did, and they waged war on each other. The men were braver, but the women often outsmarted them.
Naturally. How did it end up?
In the end, they agreed on a truce. To celebrate peace, they feasted for 3 days, and each man took away one bride.
Oh. I was expecting it to end... differently.
I'd be happier too if the women won and could grab any husband they wanted.
A pretty picture indeed. Thanks for the story. It was quite inspiring. I must be going. Our fortress is still ruled by men, and they haven't learned to clean up after themselves.